All right, welcome back to the Evolution Podcast. And today I'm going to be talking a little bit more to the guys, but some of the women as well. And this might speak to you. It could be in sales, it could be in your relationship, it could be in dating. There's a lot of things it could apply to, but it's just a question to start by asking yourself that says, you know, and I'm gonna kind of speak more towards the guys, ladies. It's going to speak to you too, but in a different language. Trying to say he, she is isn't going to work. So I'm just going to say directly to the men. Guys, can you see her soul or do you see her physical appearance? Like, are you looking at her box, or are you looking at who she is and the reality of that? And for women, are you looking at his bank account or are you looking at his soul? Like, which is it, or his body or whatever? And yeah, there has to be some physical attraction, but what are you actually looking for? And when it comes to sales, are you looking at their bank account or their business or what they can do for you? Or are you looking at saying, who are they? Like, do I want this person on my team or not? If you were to go into life, like let's say before you ever came to this world, and you knew you were going to go play this game called life, and you're moving forward, and you're like, okay, God says, okay, you need to pick a team, and you're going to go pick this team, and you're going to prepare for it and everything else. And you come into the world, what do you think your team is going to look like versus what you think in the world now? Picking the team, how much different would it be when you begin to realize that there's not only a financial battle, a relationship battle, a physical battle, a kids battle, but a spiritual battle, which is the number one battle that you should probably be focused on the most. And the people that are winning in the spiritual game are the ones winning everywhere else for what they want. Maybe not what you want, but what they want. So it kind of tells you, like, okay, if I can get that spiritual being on track, then everything else kind of works. So you think about who you might have picked beforehand versus who you would kind of pick without even thinking about it. Just saying, okay, we're going to play a game, go pick your top 10, and then we're going to play 11-man teams, you and 10 other people. How are we going to roll this? And people are going to go after people like billionaires, like, well, I need somebody with money. I need somebody with this. I need somebody with this skill, versus who's the most spiritually connected, because all your answers are going to come from God anyway. And if you're a guy and you're going on a date and you're just looking physically, like looking for this physical thing, and that's all you're looking for, it's just like, really, I don't know. For me, it's always been a little different, it seems like, because everybody else that I was around was always like, oh, that girl's hot, or this, that, or whatever. And I'm like, really? Like, I mean, I think I can see what they're talking about, but I'm observing it from, like, okay, so she's got some nice clothes on, she's got some makeup on, so I can't even really see her, and I'm wondering, like, what are you seeing? But when I look in her eyes, I don't see anything. It's like a rag doll. I'm like, what's so beautiful or sexy or hot about it? I don't get it. But when I get around someone that I can look into their eyes and I can see it, maybe not fully, but I can see there's something there. That's what I'm looking for. I'm gonna look in there. I'm gonna see, like, who are you? And in order to be able to do something like that, it means you yourself can't be that shallow. You have to have some level of connection with God. If you don't, if you're a liar, and we're all liars to some degree, but to what degree is going to be the question. Are you working on it? Are you connected to God or whatever? And I can tell you 100% that any of the people that I've actually interacted with that had that more just outward physical attraction, beauty, sexiness, hotness, whatever it is, if that was all that was there and that other piece wasn't there, every single one of them, for me, 100%, every one of them had some disastrous shit going on inside. Right. That doesn't mean I've met some like amazing, beautiful people with the beautiful soul as well. Okay. Like, those aren't the people I'm talking about. I'm talking about the people that they have the appearance of everything, and the world chases them. And a lot of people get in business with people like this. And when it comes to sales, like, let's talk sales, let's just call it business. People get in business with the sexy business guy. I'm not talking physically. I'm talking about the person that looks like they can do everything for their business. They can pull this off, do this, they make magic happen, everything else. Always, pretty much, I'm not gonna say always, but a lot of times it ends in destruction, especially if that other piece isn't there. So you got to ask yourself the question, what is it that I'm looking for? And if I'm looking at this outward appearance, why? What is so discontent with me that I can't see the inside? And if you think about it, you can probably go back to your own situations and references to say, well, who made you actually feel the best? I've actually had people talk about a great connection with another person, and they talk about it and it was like, oh, it's so amazing and everything else. It's just be like, well, why, let's say it's a dating instance. Well, why wouldn't you go after them? Why wouldn't you go after them? Oh, well, they've got this issue or they've got that issue. I'm like, what you're talking about, that external issue you're talking about can actually be solved or changed, but you're just blowing it off instantly. You're coming up with a story. And more these days, the stories are far more prevalent than anything else because of social media, that instant gratification, that if it's not perfect, it's not good enough. And so a guy might say something about a woman that, like, maybe she's not a 10. I'm looking for a 10 or something, or well, she's got kids. Well, or well, she just her finances are fucked up, or she doesn't drive a nice enough car. It's like, what? Like, like what? I mean, come on. At the end of the day, you got to find that person that just makes you happy. And most of the time, these things that come up aren't about happiness. It's about a qualification. It's about what they think it's like they're trying to prove something to who. And when I start to ask them direct questions on, like, well, why is that relevant to you? Well, it's just, what it needs to be. Says who? Like, well, I just don't want the stress of blah blah. Just some bullshit comes out of their mouth, and I'm like, how's that stressful? Well, it's because, and it always, not always, but typically leads back to the worldly stance that people find themselves in, of saying, well, I need to do it because of this, or I need to do that. And to be honest, if I did what I thought the world was supposed to do, I wouldn't be married right now, because it's like, oh no, I need to be a multimillionaire. I need to have everything perfect and in order and doing all this different shit so I can provide for her and spoil her ass and do all this crazy stuff and everything else. I'm like, I don't know when that's going to happen. Is that even part of God's plan for me? I don't even know. And so I got to step out of that and be like, what does God want from me? And then I give some stuff up, and I clean the slate of the world off from covering my eyes, and I'm like, what is this really? And even though I can see, I can look in somebody's eyes and see a lot of truth. I can feel things by looking in somebody's eyes. And typically, you know, you, I can walk through public and look at somebody and probably 80+% call out their character, what they're like, what they don't like, what they do like, like references to different things, and be on point like a vast majority of the time. And so I've got an ability. It's a gift from God that I can really see this. And even then I still had to go, like, okay, I need to go deeper. But first I got to clean the mud off my eyes of the world. And so I'm just challenging every one of you, and ladies, you're not excluded from this. Like, if you're looking for that bank account or that perfect problem or anything else, yeah, great. It doesn't mean you can't have it. Okay. Doesn't mean you can't have a 10. It doesn't mean men or women, you can't have the perfect thing. It doesn't mean you can't have the perfect business partner or anything else. But if you feel like you need it, if you get needy in it, or if you feel like that's how it has to be, or else, or if you feel like it can't be any less than that because of whatever reason, I don't know what you would come up with that actually makes sense in God's world. But if that's what you find yourself, you know what? You got some work to do on yourself. They don't have work to do on themselves. You have some work to do on yourselves, because when the time is right, if you get yourself right, what you see will be beauty on the outside and the inside. It will be your perfect fit all the way around, in business, in relationships. It doesn't matter. And then when you have kids, or if there's kids involved, you will see the beauty in them, right? I can tell you, there's certain things that, even like, basically, I gained a stepson getting married, and there's certain things with him that I see. I'm like, this is pretty fucking cool. Like, I see some serious potential here. It's kind of untapped at the moment. It's a little crazy. There's some ups and downs and some craziness, but I just, to me, it's like, well, it's beautiful, like it just is, because now I get to be part of that. Like, it's going to be a lot of learning for me, and it's going to be a lot of learning for him. And if we can create some wins inside of this, it'll be awesome for both of us. And I don't know. I began finding the good in it instead of trying to figure out what's wrong with it or whatever. But a big part of my conversation is the conversation I have with God, not the, this is what I should do or whatever. And the more I remove the mud and I get clear, the greater the let's call it the sexiness gets, right? Whether it's the business partner or the relationship or whatever, it's like just gets sexier. Not because I'm fooling myself, it's because I'm not being distracted by the bullshit that the world is preaching, right? The world will tell you, oh well, you need to have this house, or you need to have this relationship, or the woman needs to show up this way, or the kids need to do this, and like all this bullshit. And when you stop listening to that and start listening to God, you realize that what everybody thinks they have, they don't have. It's fallacy. But when you follow what God kind of recommends, and then you find it in you, this isn't God said so I'm going to be happy about it. If you think that's how I am, you're crazy. No, this is the ability to say, um, you're never okay. Let me give a really good reference for this. If you're if you're watching porn, your wife or your husband is never going to be good enough. They're not, because that biological hit of emotions, chemicals, and everything else that you get from that type of hitting all the time, it's always going to tear down what you see. And so you're going to question, even if you think that you're on point, and like if you've been inside of that experience with porn, it's nope, not going to happen. It's always going to make you question something or do something different. When you remove it, and after a period of time, you get away from it long enough, it begins to rebalance those chemicals that are God designed, that will connect you to your person, and there's nothing else you're going to need. You will have everything, and you will want everything inside that very moment. So really it comes down to fixing yourself, and not trying to go find the person that's the perfect person or anything else. You continue to work internal spiritually, that work then like permeates the external, and you become a beautiful, first a beautiful soul, then a beautiful person, and then you attract what you are. So it's be it, do it, have it, and you will get everything. So really look, next time you go around somebody, business deal, friendship, relationship, anything, look them in the eyes. Be like, can I see them? Can I see who they really are? And understand that when you really see someone, when you look in their eyes and you really see them, tell them you saw it. You know, some people don't even know how to take it when they do, but I'm pretty sure if you just kind of say, a little bit ago, or yesterday, or right now in this moment, I really like that little, I don't know what it was, that twinkle in your eye or whatever, that, man, you showed me something there that was so beautiful. I just wanted to let you know I saw it. Thank you so much. You're just amazing. It'll light them up, and by lighting them up, it'll light you up even more. But my first question is, what are you seeing first? Guys, gals, what are you looking at first? Are you needy? Do you need the hotness? Do you need the sexiness? Do you need the bank account? Which is it? Or have you finally gotten to the point where you're like, no, I need the truth. That's all I want. I want the truth. When I have the truth, I can build, I then have a foundation, and then I can build an empire, whether that's physically, sexually, financially, or spiritually. It doesn't matter. Just get to the truth and build on it. All right. So you guys have a wonderful day. We'll see you soon. All right. Bye.